What's good, fight fans? Welcome back to another episode of Combat and Kick It. It is your host, Bando, and we are back at it to review UFC 327. Obviously, some really dope moments on the card, some really sad moments for a lot of us fans, but let's waste no time. Let's get into the review. Let's smoke. So, for the early prelims and the first half of the regular prelims, I really didn't get to catch much. Was still at work, closing up shop. But I'm going to go through, talk about the winners real quick. Opening the card, you had Charles Radke versus Francisco Prado. Charles Radke gets the decision win. You had Kelvin Gastelum versus Vicente Luque. Vicente Luque gets a first-round submission on Kelvin Gastelum. You know, it's weird to see Kelvin still going, in a way. With all the ups and downs that he's had in his career, that's why I'm saying it's weird to see him still going. Then you had Chris Padilla versus Markel Medeiros. Looks like it ended up in a draw. So actually, I did see pretty much the whole prelim. So opening the prelims, you had Tatiana Suarez versus Lupi Goodenez. Yo, Lupi started off good. She really did start off good. Even slammed Tatiana at one point. I'm like, okay, all right, maybe she's gonna show some threat on the ground that might make Tatiana want to avoid putting in any work in that route. But once Tatiana figures out that she can break you down and end up controlling position, she ends up locking in a submission. Once she locks in a submission, it's over with if you get locked into a Tatiana Suarez submission. So she got the submission win in round 2 over Lupi Goodenez. Then you move on to another submission win. Mateusz Gamrot gets the W over Esteban Ribovics. Now, I didn't talk about this fight. I didn't break it down. It wasn't on my breakdown or anything like that. If you didn't see the breakdown, I did a live breakdown. So obviously you won't see that there was an episode posted. I did a live breakdown last night during the fights, during the prelims, kind of did a live breakdown of the main card, and we even watched Kevin Holland versus Randy Brown together. But I actually thought Esteban Ribovics would win this fight. He is a scrappy fighter. He really is. He's got great kicks. He's got good hands. But at the same time, Gamrot is a solid wrestler, man. He is a solid wrestler who's going to continuously press the pace when it comes to wrestling. Once he knows that he's able to use his wrestling and is having success, he's going to keep going to the well every single time. And that's what he did. And it looked I didn't see this whole fight, but from the parts of it that I did see, it looked like Esteban Ribovics had no answer for anything when it came to the ground. When it came to the takedown, when it came to the ground, it looks like he had no answer for anything. Then you had Kevin Holland versus Randy Brown, which started off as a very good fight, right? It did start off as a very good fight. Randy Brown was fighting good. Kevin Holland was fighting good. Kevin Holland was attacking the lead leg heavily. He said that was part of the game plan. Smart game plan against somebody like Randy Brown, who's very heavy on that front foot, right? You knew it was going to be a striking matchup between two guys who are very good on the feet. But here's the thing, like, Kevin has this tendency to throw wild when he could be clean and technical. And if he was a little bit more clean and technical, I think you would see more guys getting dropped by Kevin, more guys getting rocked by Kevin. I think Kevin's problem is he falls off and he doesn't stay as technical as he realistically could. I feel like he could be a lot more technical than he shows. But he was doing good. He was throwing, like I said, he was throwing the leg kicks. The leg kicks were doing something. They were definitely bothering Randy Brown. Every time that he landed, it was affecting him. Right? It was either moving Randy Brown or swiping the leg out from under Randy Brown, right? Buckling him, whatever the case may be. It was working. I thought Randy Brown was doing good. He was doing good working like body shots, working some body combinations, was looking decent on the striking. Wasn't throwing a ton, but was throwing enough to make the fight interesting. And I mean, Kevin took the first round. Kevin pretty much took the second round. The third round, Randy Brown came out, and it didn't seem like he was trying to win the third round at all. Like it almost felt like he was just trying to coast through the last round, but he wasn't going to get a decision win that way because through the fight, right, he took the damage. When the first round, when the fight went to the ground, he was the one that was stuck in the submission, right? Kevin held that anaconda choke for a minute. I'm surprised Randy Brown did not tap. That was tight. There was a lot of moments where it was pretty deep, but he was able to break free. He was able to get his leg free. He was able to kind of roll out of it. He turned into it and then kind of rolled out of it a little bit. I thought he was going to stay in there until Kevin's arms just like wore out, but he ended up getting out. It was a really, really good fight out. And just the simple fact that you do stuff like that gets the fans excited, right? Especially when the fight's a good fight on the feet. So you get out, and it didn't end up. It was very anticlimactic. Like there was just nothing to it, right? The last round was a very slow, sluggish stalemate. And that sucks when it's following up a good 2 rounds. You know what I mean? It's like if you bowling and you throw 2 strikes back to back and then you throw a gutter ball. That's what it feels like. Like you don't even need to get another strike in the last one. You know what I mean? You just need to get a little bit of excitement, a little bit of pressure. It just didn't seem like Randy Brown was trying to win the fight. I think Randy Brown is solid too. Randy Brown has good striking. He's got a lot of pieces in the puzzle, man. He throws a lot of good, clean, technical strikes. It's just, I don't know. Maybe it's the IQ. I mean, not everybody's got a perfect IQ in there, you know? It's not easy. It's a very hard game to have a good IQ in. But yeah, still, good win by Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland needs to stay in the win column. He's just somebody who genuinely, in my opinion, has so much more potential, and he does not fight to his potential. I just don't feel like he fights to the actual potential he can. But speaking of fighting to potential, it makes me get into this next fight. Aaron Pico. Fantastic performance by Aaron Pico. Honest to God, that was a great performance by him. Right? Patricio Pitbull is never an easy challenge for anybody. Right? Pitbull is a dog, and Aaron Pico went in there and he pushed it. He pushed it, especially after coming off of a devastating knockout in your debut. I mean, you got slept bad in the debut. You know, to come out and fight the way he did. It was whichever matchmaker came up with the idea of that fight being the one to be made. Genius. Very smart. It was a perfect fight to be made. The best of the Bellator boys. But no, Aaron Pico fought great. And this is how Aaron Pico has to fight. Right? Where you utilize the wrestling, but he's not focused on the wrestling. He was focused on being a little bit more patient. He was letting his hands work a little bit. I mean, he just looked good. He looked like he belonged, right? We already know Pitbull belongs. Pitbull's one of the better fighters that's ever been in Bellator. One of the fighters that could have came over to UFC a long time ago, for being honest. And, you know, they put on a good fight. It wasn't a crazy, exciting fight, but it wasn't a boring fight either. And like I said, I just thought Aaron Pico put on a great performance and actually showed that he belonged, right? Like, obviously, he ain't going out there fighting Volk yet, but you can see some exciting fights potentially from Aaron Pico. He's somebody who just has to fight smart fights. If he fights smart fights, he's going to have a lot more success. Even if he doesn't win, at least he's not going to get highlight KO'd like he did against Lerone Murphy. That's what he wants to avoid. You don't want to end up being that guy who came over from Bellator and you're just being a highlight KO for other guys. You definitely don't want to be that. I think Aaron Pico has a lot of potential, a lot of skill. He's still kind of young, right? Like, he's got an opportunity. He just has to keep building. Build off this win, right? Build off this win. Wipe what happened in the past out. Build off this win. Keep going. Keep moving up. And we'll see what happens. If he performs like that every single time, you know, his career's only going to get better. But that was a good win by Aaron Pico. Especially when I thought all Aaron Pico was going to do was shoot and end up getting caught in a submission or some sort of shit like that. All right, let's get into this wild main card. Opening the main card, Cub Swanson versus Nate Landor. This is where I start my predictions at 0-1. But shout out to Cub Swanson, and shout out to Cub Swanson for having a super dope career, a fun, very watchable career, man. If you've been watching Cub Swanson since the WEC days, you understand that man has been putting on exciting fights for his entire career, right? He has been putting on, whether if it's an exciting fight or fighting the best in the world, that is what Cub Swanson has been doing since the beginning of his career. I mean, he has always been in a good fight, always been in something challenging. I always liked Cub Swanson. Let's put it that way. I always respected Cub Swanson. Cub Swanson's one of those guys where you saw him on a card and you're like, okay, I don't even care who he's against. I'm gonna watch that fight. And what a way to go out. What a way to go out. I didn't know he was retiring. I'm not even going to lie to you. I didn't know he was retiring. This was one of those weeks where for like the first week ever, I really didn't pay attention much to the entire like build up throughout the week. But man, what a performance. Quick and easy. Didn't have to do nothing. Went in there unscathed, untouched. Went in there and beat the brakes off Nate Landor with quickness. And Nate Landor is somebody who's known to take a couple and send a couple back. Right, and Cub went in there and put the brake just real quick. He didn't want to get dirty. He didn't want to get dirty. My man didn't even want to have to go back to the shower after the fight. He wanted to just go straight out after. No, but it's cool. Cub has been fighting for such a long time. He says he wants to kick back, spend time with his family, get to the things that he's missed. You know, a lot of these fighters miss a lot of opportunity and a lot of time with their family, a lot of stuff that we as just regular people who are with our families every day, we could easily take for granted. So, one, don't ever take for granted what you got in front of you, because no matter what it is, it's great. If you got it, you got it. You know, so be happy. And that's the thing. A lot of these fighters, right? They just want to get back home to their family. They just want to enjoy time with their family. And now Cub Swanson, after going out on the highest high you can go out in fighting, besides maybe retiring with a championship, this is the other highest high you can go out in fighting, is just being able to retire on a win. And not only that, a crazy good finish in the first round. Great way to go out. Go enjoy time with your family. Thank you, Cub Swanson. Enjoy retirement. And now you move on to Dominic Reyes versus Johnny Walker, and I would have never have ever predicted this fight to go 3 rounds, but of course, I was wrong about that. My prediction for Dominic Reyes was right, so I'm 1-1 on that. First, I'm going to say I understand it was a boring fight. Okay? Wasn't the most boring fight we've ever seen, right? It was a little bit more of a slow-paced, overly patient fight. These guys were just overly patient. And why? Because they're both known to get KO'd. They're both known to be on a highlight reel for somebody else. And here's the thing about it. The whole week has been nothing but that for them. Right? Building up, hearing people talk about, oh, one of these two's got no chin, one of them's going out, one of them's going out, one of them's going out, one of them's going out. They both want to avoid that the whole week. They want to avoid the fact that all the fans think nothing of the fight besides one of them might go to sleep. So they went out there and they fought the exact fight that we basically pushed them into fighting. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've been talking the entire week that one of those two were going to get knocked out. As soon as they announced this fight, we said it was the battle of the glass jaws, right? And we got the fight that you would get if it's the battle of the glass jaws. You expected for somebody to get clipped, but at the same time, neither of them were willing to engage in the way that they needed to end up getting the big knockout KO the way they wanted. So we ended up getting a boring stalemate type of fight with two overly patient guys who wanted to avoid getting knocked out. That's part of the game. That's part of the game. Dominic Reyes said he wanted to just make it home to his family. I respect it. The man's been knocked out a lot. Both of these guys have been knocked out a lot. So I can't blame them for fighting the way they fought. Yes, it was boring. Yes, it wasn't even like boring. It just wasn't exciting, and it wasn't what people wanted. Everybody wanted to see somebody get knocked out. It's just that simple. That's why everybody's making a big stink about it. Somebody just want to see somebody get knocked out. You put both those guys against each other who tend to get knocked out or get a knockout and nothing happens. Yeah, you're going to be disappointed. But it is what it is. That happens a lot. How many times have we gotten fights where it was like striker versus striker and it was absolutely boring as can be, and we've been begging for an exciting striker versus striker matchup? You know what I mean? Like, it's just part of the game. It really is. It's part of the game, and I can't knock them. I thought both of them fought pretty decent in terms of being as patient as they were. Right, you're fighting a smart fight, but fought overly smart. You guys could have engaged a little bit more. Didn't look like Johnny Walker really wanted to engage at all. Dominic Reyes was definitely doing more of the engaging, but at the same time, yeah, not what fans expected. Oh, this next one? I'm just going to start this off like this. Josh Hokit, you are insane, brother. Holy shit. Curtis Blades, you are also insane, brother. That was one of the best fights I've ever watched. That was insane. It was absolutely, oh my God. Okay, Josh Hokit doesn't just get into a crazy fight. This whole fight week has been insane for Josh Hokit. Just playing the gimmick role, just coming up with characters, just doing this and that, back and forth, like all these different things, right? And you know how it is. You've seen guys do this before, and you've seen them get knocked out cold. And he's going in there against the top 5 heavyweight who has been locked into the top 5 for a very long time now, right? So you're thinking, man, you're playing the gimmick card with the wrong person. You're going in there against a tough SOB with Curtis Blades. And Curtis Blades is a tough SOB, but here's the thing. Josh Hokit showed that 235 pounds, being 30 pounds lighter than his opponent, meant nothing. That man is a savage. Fight starts, and he starts the fight with a good old bird flicked right off to good old Curtis Blades. Curtis takes nothing from it, kind of just don't even. Curtis really wasn't even acknowledging like the fact that he was getting flicked off. He was just taking it for what it is. But Josh was throwing hands, man. Like not at all what I expected. Josh went in there and was throwing hands, throwing fast combinations. He was just letting his hands go. He was looking to get a finish early, and he was rocking Curtis Blades, rocking him, wobbling him. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's gonna get an early finish, and he's flicking him off in the meantime. He flicked him off probably about 7 or 8 times in that fight. Just kept doing it. And, yeah, it's annoying to see sometimes. You're not Nate Diaz, right? I understand a lot of people saying that stuff. But at the same time, man, we haven't had anybody who's actually made that kind of noise in a minute. And it's interesting to see from a heavyweight. And he's playing characters, so nobody knows, who the real Josh Hokit is type of thing. So that's kind of cool in my opinion. It gives you that old school WWE vibe. He's sticking to the gimmick. He could have easily went on the mic last night and said, oh, man, that was a fantastic fight with Curtis. I know I do a lot through all that kind of shit. But he didn't know. He stuck to the gimmick. I respect it. But I respect both the men last night. They beat the brakes off each other. I mean, it was back and forth. It was as soon as that fight ended, I said, I don't know who won that fight. I don't know how to call it. But then you look at it realistically. Even in terms of someone being outlanded, say Curtis outlanded Josh Hokit. Josh Hokit did the damage, right? You look at Curtis Blades' face. It looked like it went through like a paper shredder. Like that man's face was mauled. And I mean, rightfully so. He was getting hit with those quick punches right off rip early, and they were right down the middle. I think he probably broke his nose, I would assume. But Curtis getting wobbled and being able to stay in there and come back and give just as much as he was taking, absolute savage. And Curtis, I would say Curtis lost round 1, won round 2. Round 3 was close, but probably leaned more towards Josh. But it was a slugfest, and that was probably the best heavyweight fight I've ever seen. I don't think I've ever seen 2 heavyweights getting a scrap like that since. I remember Cain Velasquez and Junior Dos Santos was a bit of a scrap back in the day. I don't remember which one it was. Maybe it might have been all of them. I mean, no. One Cain got knocked out. 2 JDS got knocked out. And 3 was a slugfest, but at the same time, it was a slugfest where Cain Velasquez could have finished the fight like 600 times, but he continued to hug. Yeah. I remember that. But that was a good fight. But you don't get heavyweight slugfests. Why? Because they're fucking heavyweights. But Josh Hokit could be interesting, being a heavyweight with the quick hands like that, that could be very interesting. So people are excited to see more from Josh Hokit. People are excited to see more of the gimmick. And just got announced last night during the post-fight press conference that Josh Hokit and Derek Lewis is now on the UFC White House card. So I'm all in on that. Moving on to the co-main event, I did not expect this to happen at all. I definitely thought the undefeated Azamat Murzakanov was going to get the W over Paulo Costa. Not to say that Paulo Costa is washed, but I thought pretty much Paulo Costa might have been washed. And Paulo Costa was not washed. Paulo Costa looked like Paulo Costa from the Yoel Romero fight, throwing beautiful body kicks. The body kicks were definitely making a difference. And I said it in the live breakdown, Azamat Murzakanov does not look like a guy who was, 16-0? 17-0? So he was 16-0? Yeah, no, that man does not look like a guy that was 16-0. Not in the light heavyweight division of the world, no way. And that is why the body shots affect him. They affected him. They bothered him. Not only that, Paulo Costa is quick, right? He is quick. He's got good hands. He's powerful, right? He knows how to pressure. And at first, he wasn't pressuring. If you watch the first round, he was the one with his back against the cage. And I'm like, okay, that could be a problem because if Azamat Murzakanov gets to just unleash him with those hands, could be a problem. And Murzakanov throws with the intention of knocking you out. He's not looking to just touch you up, and he's looking to knock you out. And Paulo Costa stayed calm, stayed patient. Paulo Costa's good in the chaos, too. Like, he can handle chaos. If you bring him the heat, he's fine with it. But I thought the body kicks were a huge difference maker, and the fact that Paulo Costa is a big-ass light heavyweight. He was a big-ass middleweight. He's a big-ass light heavyweight. It's a problem. It's a problem. Paulo Costa could end up being a problem in this division depending on how serious he really takes making the adjustments and bettering his skill set, because you still look at him and he's the same fighter, right? He hasn't done much different in terms of any of his other fights. He hasn't really made crazy adjustments to change his style. He's the same fighter. He outlanded Azamat Murzakanov by 30%. I mean, that's fantastic. And Murzakanov it's not like he wasn't throwing, but he wasn't really chucking up a ton of shots. But when he did throw, he was throwing with bad intentions. Just the shots weren't there. And really, if you look at the main card, there wasn't any like really big favorites on the card, but I think Azamat Murzakanov was one of the biggest favorites on the card. And Paulo Costa needed to come out there and do that, but now he has to follow up. He has to do it again. Same thing with that last fight we talked about, Josh Hokit. Josh, now you got a bar that you're there now. You got to reach that again for the next fight. Otherwise, people are gonna just push you to the side, right? Paulo Costa, you got to do the same thing. You got to come into that next fight. You got to get another impressive W. Third round TKO. No one expected that. So you definitely got to come out, get another W, make a statement again, and keep the train rolling. And now for the main event. Do I even want to get into this? I don't. Okay. Damn it. Jiri, dude, come, bro. My God. You had it won. Hella dramatic effect right there. But no, man, he really had that shit won. Damn. Good punch. Good punch by Carlos Olberg. Can't say shit. He chucked that nasty left hook, and I said it. I'm like, the kryptonite for Jiri Petroska seems to be a left hook. That's what Alex caught him with. Seemed to be a left hook. He don't see it coming. You don't see a left hook coming. That's the whole reason why so many people have gotten knocked out by nasty left hooks. You don't see them coming in the way that Jiri fights. He didn't see that coming. But he had it won. Trying to be, merciful instead of merciless. Should have took him out. It is what it is, man. It's part of the game. People are going to get injured mid-fight. Yeah, you trying to be noble in a way, but it is what it is. Fuck it. You got to get the dub. You're in there to get the belt. Yeah, it might have been easy. Yeah, it might not have been the way you wanted to get it. Josh Fan didn't give a fuck. So just go ahead and get you your belt, dude. Get the belt back. 2-time UFC light heavyweight champion. You could have been. Instead, Carlos Ulberg said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna throw this left hand as hard as I possibly can, and I guarantee if it lands, I could put him to sleep." And it's exactly what he did. And in the first round too. I understand it would have been such a shit way to see Carlos Ulberg go out that saying that, with the leg injury, but at the same time, that's part of the game. How many times have we seen that happen? We've seen it happen so many times. It's part of the game. Jiri wanted to be, overly patient and like a noble, and not try to be noble and not try to get at him. But fuck it. The knockout's there, the finish is there, the win is there. Go get it. Simple as that. And it sucked to see Jiri lose, but congrats to Carlos Ulberg. It's not even like it was some fluke shit. That's what Carlos Ulberg does. He has one fantastic, really good punch, and it's his left hook. It's his jab and his left hook. He has two good punches, jab and a left hook. And it worked. It worked. And he is your new UFC light heavyweight champion. And the crazy thing is, I don't know, do you rematch that? You don't rematch that. Finish in the first round. Jiri's have 4 opportunities now for a belt. You don't rematch that. Who's next? I don't know. But UFC 327, good card. Overall grade, I might have to go with an A on this one. I think I'm going to have to go with an A. It was exciting. It had exciting moments. It had fun fights. It had good finishes. What else can you ask for? I'm going to have to go with an A. Good card, UFC 327. That's it for this episode, though. I appreciate you if you sat through the whole 30 minutes and watched this. You know what to do. If you've been here before, you know what to do. Like, comment, drop the comments. Tell me what you think of the fights. Tell me what you think the best fight was. What you enjoyed the most out of the card. What you're looking forward to the most going into. We're going into the spring, summertime. These are some of the best fight cards that we usually get. Who are you looking forward to see fight? What cards are you looking forward to the most? So, just engage a little bit. So like, comment, and if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And along with that, hit the bell notification button so you know when the next episode is out. And I'll catch you on the next episode. Your boy Bando is out. Peace.